Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always is the 30th anniversary special for the franchise and was released in 2023. It tells the story of when Rita Repulsa returns and manages to kill off Trini, which causes tragedy for the Rangers. Therefore, Trini's daughter must take her place and try to team up with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers to stop Rita. So, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always is the 30th anniversary special, as we all know. It's the reunion. The Power Rangers franchise has never really done reunions before. It's usually always been crossovers or team-ups. It's usually Super Sentai that I'm familiar with do reunions for either the 20th anniversaries or the 10th anniversaries, but this year they decided to make a reunion special for Mighty Morphin, the original, since it will be 30 years old this year. And today the special just dropped on Netflix. So there's been a bit of hype around this special as its 30th anniversary. And when it comes to the anniversary specials for Power Rangers, Forever Red is the best one. It's a classic. Once a Ranger is mediocre but has a lot of merit, and to me personally it is quite nostalgic. And then obviously there was the Legendary Battle. I haven't seen the Megaforce series, but I have seen the Legendary Battle special, the extended cut, and I thought it was absolutely awful. And then there was Dimensions in Danger, which was the 25th anniversary special in Super Ninja Steel, and that was just awesome. So, we're now on the 30th anniversary special. I can't believe the franchise is 3 decades old now. So, how does this special stand, and what do I think of it? Meh. Yeah, this special is pretty underwhelming. Yeah, it wasn't very good in my opinion. I wasn't impressed by it. So, the reception so far has been pretty mixed, if I'm correct. Some are saying it's really solid, and then some are saying it's quite poor and corny. I'm sadly, yeah, I agree. I didn't think it was that good, and I think my problems was just the story. The storyline was pretty bland. It was dull. Yeah, I was shocked, and I was watching it, just not impressed. I just wasn't impressed by the direction the story was going. It felt bland. It just didn't work, and a lot of it was quite corny actually. I think it was just some of the line deliveries. Well, I'll get into the acting in a bit, but it wasn't exciting, the story. I don't think this is a way to honor the 30th anniversary of not just the original series, but the franchise in general. And I honestly think that this special would have been better if they made it as a 30th anniversary team up for the franchise. Because then you can dedicate the other actors in the franchise, such as Pua Magastiva, that have passed away. But what do I think of it as a tribute to Tui Trang and Jason David Frank, who both are sadly no longer with us? I do think it does serve as a nice tribute to both those actors that have sadly died. And I do think the callbacks to the original Mighty Morphin are actually pretty cool. There is some epic bits and pieces in this special. And I do really like how they remake the intro at the end of the special. That's cool. And I like how they remake the Megazord sequence. That again is pretty epic. But this isn't the way I would celebrate the 30th anniversary of a big franchise. It just feels underwhelming. It just doesn't feel exciting. It just feels bland. It just feels sloppy. It was dull. The story is pretty disappointing. So the action, for me, sadly was pretty mixed. Now, there were some pretty decent fight scenes, but most of them just felt sloppy. They just didn't feel exciting. They just didn't feel as cool as some of the other fight scenes in the franchise, and that was kind of underwhelming. And I do think, though, the acting, I think Billy and Zach did have a few poor line deliveries, but I think for the most part they delivered really good performances, and I do really like the interaction with Billy, Zach, and the new character Ming at the end of the special. That's pretty nice. And I was genuinely quite surprised that the actors for Rocky, Kat, Aisha, and Adam do pretty good performances, actually. Better than I was expecting. And the performance for Rita Repulsa is fine. It's kind of the same as it was in the original show. But the acting for Ming's, her performance, I just thought was terrible, to be honest. I just couldn't really take her seriously, which was a shame for me. But the acting was a little bit of a mixed bag. It was mostly decent, but just there were a few times where I just felt the performances really needed to be improved. And I have to say, um, Alpha 5 really did sound like chaos in this special. Just as I was watching this special in particular, it really did sound like chaos. And I know it's the same voice actor, but it really did sound like chaos in this special. Visually though, the special does look nice. There is some very nice looking shots, especially with the team shot at the very beginning. That shot looks gorgeous, it's epic. And the special effects and CGI, not too bad actually. They're pretty decent, especially for the budget. Compared to what the CGI is usually like in this franchise, it's pretty decent, I would dare say. And the characters, unfortunately, they're a bit of a mixed bag. It was very nice to see Zach and Billy again, and it was great to see how their dynamic has grown over the years. I even enjoyed seeing Rocky, Kat, Aisha, and Adam again. They were pretty cool. But other than that, every other character didn't impress me. While I like how Ming wants to continue her mother's legacy and how she wants to become the Yellow Ranger, and I did enjoy her dynamic with the other Rangers, that was good, but other than that, she wasn't really that developed and there wasn't a whole lot to her character. Rita Repulsa was the same as she was in the original series, but I didn't really think she was that impressive here. And the two new villains I thought were absolutely terrible. They had cool designs, definitely, but as characters, they were just awful. They lacked so much character to the point where I just thought they were written terribly. So yeah, while it was nice to see some old characters again, unfortunately the new ones were quite underwhelming to me. The music was decent actually. It reused a lot of the same music from the original series and inserting a few new tracks, but I really liked how they reused the theme song. That was cool. It does serve as a nice tribute to the original show. But the music was pretty good actually. I think the music is probably the best aspect of this special if I was to be completely honest. So yeah, I was not all that impressed by Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always. Overall, while it does serve as a nice tribute to Twee Trang and Jason David Frank, sadly Once and Always is a big disappointment. It suffers a very poor and underwhelming story, the acting, fight scenes and characters are a very mixed bag, but the music and effects are decent enough for the budget. I'm going to give Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always a 6 out of 10. Yeah, sadly it didn't do it for me. It was quite disappointing and it just felt lackluster. Would I watch it again? I probably would. I mean, there is a few decent parts in it I like, but it's just some shots in it do look pretty nice. Like I said, visually it does look nice, but I don't know, I was pretty disappointed by it. I thought it was quite underwhelming. So anyway, stay tuned for my next video. Until then, guys, thank you all for watching. Take care, everyone, and skidoosh.